Nancy.
Hi, we got the memo. We're both wearing white.
Yeah, yeah.
So how are you doing today? How excited to talk about this new film, The
Oh
Flow.
yeah, yeah. I'm excited. It's been a busy morning. It's been a lot of interviews this morning, which has been good.
What's that? What part of the world are you in? Australia?
I'm in Australia. Yeah, I'm in Sydney at the moment, and it's like 11 a.m. here.
Okay, well, good morning to you.
Thank you. Well, what about you? Where are you at?
I'm in LA, so it's
LA.
five
Yeah,
o'clock. It's
five
it's
o'clock.
it's 5 o'clock. Time for a drink.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. Yeah, 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yes, indeed. So tell me about your character. I mean, it went through a roller coaster of a lot of different moments. Which part would you say was the most challenging?
Oh, I think one of the most challenging parts for the character I played, Warrell, was it would be it would have been when his daughter dies, and oh, spoiler alert. And when he actually goes through a massive transformation, a change in the way that he thinks and the way that he could see a future for his life and the life of his people. I think that for me is one of the big moments.
Okay, so you told us a little bit about loss. How do you prepare in those kind of scenes? Because that's pretty heartbreaking.
Yeah, in those kind of scenes, because every loss we have, we deal with them all in different ways. And sometimes when you hear the news, sometimes it will hit you so hard that you will just break, and tears will come out and you can't help it. Then there's some moments where it's just so shocking that you don't, it feels like nothing's happening, but it's just chaotic all in here. So for me, in that, when we get to do different takes of the same scene, different shots, I just play around with different reactions and just let it happen organically rather than trying to force something, and just use a lot of kind of Stanislavski techniques to put myself in that position again, and use my own personal experiences of what it was like to lose someone close to me, and yeah, try and bring that to the screen in that scene. And hopefully, hopefully people see it and can relate and understand it.
So what was it about the script that won you over as you were reading it?
Oh, the thing that won me over, the biggest thing would be the whole idea of reconciliation, and a sense of justice rather than revenge. Like it starts out like a classic Western revenge story. And as you progress through the story, you learn that, they're just people, and you see this humanity in every character, good and bad. But you get to see change happening for a lot of people, a lot of characters in the film. And I think, that definitely shows what humanity is and gives us hope that we can do better. And that's what drew me to the script.
And there's a lot to learn because I didn't know any of the history from Australia.
Yeah. Like this film, it briefly, it touches on Australia's history, like one part of Australia's history. And what's great, like the time that it's set in, it's recent. It's not so long ago. It's not like 200 years ago.
Right.
And I think a lot of people forget that when people speak about our history, they don't realize that it was almost yesterday when things like this were happening. And it touches on, a lot of hard topics that a lot of people in Australia are very careful to speak about, and some people have no knowledge of it whatsoever. So it is great to be able to bring these stories out and tell it truthfully in a way without making people feel guilty about what happened, but give them hope that, what, this happened, let's accept it, let's move forward, right? Rather like have a good sense of justice rather than revenge.
Mm-hmm. So I imagine you kind of, in part of preparing, you did some research on some history, maybe based on what it covers. Is there something that you learned that you weren't aware of?
Growing up as a First Nation in Australia, and I grew up way out in the bush in Western Australia. So I got to be, really close to my culture, my history, my traditions. and it allowed me to know all of these stories right off the bat. So it gave me a great sense of pride to be able to work on a film like this that told this side of the story in a way where it dignified First Nations people in the story, rather than us, being seen as either a villain or being carried by someone else, needing, a white savior to come in. And I think it's incredible to finally have that, to be seen as that, to be respected. And yeah, it's just to come to this film. One thing I did learn was the struggles that everyone went through and what they were taught in that world, in that lifetime, how they were taught to treat other people, and how it changed them, but giving them that sense of hope that they can change for the better.
And your character was so modest. There was a scene where you walk into the bar, with someone else, and they're pretty much, this is not your place. And you're just kind of like, okay, you accept it. Although you're like, I fought for you too. But, then you have this gentleman that's like, okay, well, kind of like, well, I'm leaving too if he's being kicked out. And then you're just like, no, it's okay. Like, that said a lot.
Yeah, it definitely does. And what's great about it is that is, the mannerism that many First Nation people in Australia actually have, is that same heart to be like, no, you know what, it's okay. We'll figure it out. And yeah, it's a beautiful moment. I'm glad you brought that moment up, because a lot of people don't, that's not one of the standout moments for them in the film. So yeah, it's interesting to hear you say that, and to know, yeah, it is a big deal for him to, have fought this war for Australia, come back, and then not be welcomed back in his own home. That's a lot of people don't even know about that, and it wasn't until recently that Indigenous Australians who fought in the war were actually allowed to be recognized and acknowledged for their efforts.
Yeah, it is pretty sad. So films like this is good to bring up and bring awareness of what did happen. Definitely,
yeah. And it's done in a way where it's very artistic, it's told very beautifully, and the performances in it are just incredible. Everyone did a great job, and Victoria, who directed it and wrote it, it's just, she was so open to suggestions and collaborating to get the best that we can out of this film.
What was it like working with her? I mean, this is her first feature debut as a writer-director.
Yeah, no, it was amazing to work with her. She was, like I said, like, we had this amazing connection to be able to be free to collaborate with her. And she said right off the get-go, like, if you guys have any ideas, just bring it to me, because she's happy to have people come in and help to make something grow, to make it even better, which was amazing to go up to her and be like, hey, Vic, can I cut this line? And she's like, why? And then, if I gave a good enough reason as to why, and she agreed and wanted to try it, then, she was free and humble enough to be able to do that. But then she also knew her vision, and she knew when she didn't want something to change, which was a great thing to have in a director who knew exactly what they wanted, but also was flexible and free enough to allow something to grow into something more, or add something added onto it, which is like, there's one scene in the film that I fought so hard for, or not even a scene, it's just a shot. I was like, hey, Vic, can I get a shirtless scene in here? She's like, no. I was like, Vic, I've been doing push-ups, man. Like, give me something. And it took me probably a week and a half to find the perfect scene, because she's like, no, not that scene, not that scene. No, I want this. I get it. And I was like, how about this scene? And she's like, yeah, okay, let's see what it looks like. And it made it into the film. So I'm like, yes.
You're like, all my hard work.
I know. And I just, because it's such a brutal and dark scene, I was like, but I also want, people of color to be seen as beautiful as well. And I was like, let's show that in all its glory, and along with the nature, like, the landscape of this country as well, the beauty in that. And yeah, it all kind of came together perfectly.
Speaking of the landscape, is it true that where the movie was filmed was in a landscape that went under fire?
Yeah, it got burnt pretty bad. I went back and because Victoria, who directed and wrote the script and the film, she lives in that area, And luckily their house got missed. The fire just went around it, and it was, oh man, it was devastating. It was sad and incredible to see just how much the landscape changed from the fire itself. And trees were still burning for months, you know. But to go back and see this beautiful country that we filmed this film on, and then seeing it destroyed like that, and then going back again and then seeing it starting to regrow again, you know, it's beautiful. It's just like the film itself, the story of how something was beautiful, and then you know, it broke, and then it became beautiful again.
Mm-hmm. That is, hey, you know what? At least you got the landscape in the film.
Yeah, right. We captured it. We captured it in all its glory.
Yes, indeed. Well, thank you so much for your time. Is there something you can share that you're working on, or we'll be seeing you in?
At the moment, I'm working on Hamilton. I'm playing Hercules Mulligan and James Madison, so that's fun. It's been exciting, and we've just reopened last week back here in Australia, and so everyone's excited about that. And there might be a possible chance of me coming to America next year, so we'll see.
That's great.
Yeah, I haven't been to America yet, so I wanna see it. I wanna experience all that.
Well, America's going to receive you with the arms wide open, I'm pretty sure.
Appreciate it.
I'm starting right now.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, and good luck. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Have a good day or good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.